We always have shows about what's going on in our Northwest Indiana cities. Now it is time for an update on what's going on in the city of Portage. Next on Lakeshore Focus.
Programming is supported by NIPSCO. Today's young minds are constantly reimagining what our world will be like tomorrow. That's why NIPSCO is upgrading its infrastructure now, so we're ready for whatever comes next. More information at nipsco.com/future.
Welcome again to Lakeshore Focus, a weekly show highlighting the key issues, important events, and interesting people in our region. I'm Keith Kirkpatrick. From time to time, we focus this show on one of our many communities in the Northwest Indiana region. Today, we look at Portage. Wait, don't change the station. Every city or town we look at has many of the same issues and challenges your community faces. We can learn from each other. Who better to share with us the improvements and challenges than the Mayor of Portage, James Snyder. So glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here, Keith.
You know, you've been mayor for how many years now?
This is number 5.
Number 5.
Yes.
You know, and you still look young. It usually ages most people.
Yeah, my clerk treasurer is getting all the gray hair, so we tease him about that here and there.
Is that what you do, is like send the problems over that way?
Well, we try. No, we work togetad real well.
Maybe it's just your boyish look. Is that what it is?
It could be that too. The constant smile and the optimism helps.
That's good. Where'd that come from for you?
I've always been an optimist from a boy, just wanting to see things accomplished and getting things done. And sometimes it's a little bit overbearing, the optimism, but I would rather have an overbearing optimism than an overbearing pessimism. So I like to see the glass half full.
So how about the smile thing? Because you are always smiling. Well, probably not always, but you smile generally all the time. And there are times that it doesn't look like it's worth smiling about.
It's a lot easier to smile. You know, we've really tried to even add a sense of brevity to some of our council meetings, especially when they're tense and tenuous, just to make people realize that these are important decisions that we're making in people's lives, but it's also not the end of the world, and it's important that as we make those decisions that we keep things calm and keep an element of brevity as well.
When you've got that moment where the finger's in your face,
sure,
you know?
Sure.
I mean, do you literally say to yourself, look serious, James, look serious, so that they take you seriously, quit smiling? I mean,
it depends on the moment, of course, and it depends on what's going on. Typically, I think people know that with the accomplishments we've had in our community, I'm very serious, and we want to see things get done. And but at the same time, it's important to take those people. We bring them into the office often and really listen to them and want to hear what their concerns are and then try to meet their needs. And that's what being a mayor is all about.
People think it's kind of interesting that you're on the Republican side of things.
Sure.
And you're in a community that pretty much is Democratic.
Sure.
Leans very strong, working class group of people. Do you think that political bent plays a role? Or doesn't? It must not play much of a role.
No, I think it keeps me on my toes. I think I realize and recognize that I serve a constituency that typically isn't in line with my philosophy. And it's very important that when I explain things to them and work with my city council President O'Prisco has been very helpful. And we sit down and typically work things out prior to coming out and then working on them publicly. You know, I've learned that I need 4 votes. I don't need 7. I need 4 votes from the council, and we've worked really hard to get those. And given them, I would tell you that the council probably has a lot more say in Portage than they do in most communities, where they are part of the decision-making process in many aspects of government. And I think they would tell you the same. It also, Keith, it also goes for our boards. The board positions have a lot of say in what happens.
You know, you say you probably have a different kind of philosophy than your electorate, but if your electorate votes you in,
right,
are they saying that they like what you're doing, or they're buying into your philosophy a little bit?
Well, as far as local government, our philosophy is efficiency and excellence. I think the efficiency part is probably a lot more on the Republican philosophy of things, cutting spending, getting things under control. And then on the other side, we want to be excellent. We want to make sure that our employees' pay the other factors are very excellent. And so we focus on balancing efficiency and excellence on a regular basis. And we ask on each decision, is it efficient and is it excellent? The other thing I think would be different is my staff. I have a lot of my staff is very involved in the Democrat Party in Portage, and that helps me as well.
That was a good move on your part, right?
Yes, it just gives a different perspective. I often seek their advice before ever even going to the council on decisions, and I'm very grateful to have, I believe, the best staff in the region.
That's awesome. And I would think, to be honest, that probably good leadership on both parties kind of like this efficiency and excellence
Sure.
thing. They both are probably striving for that. I
Sure.
think all good leaders are trying
Sure.
to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that anybody doesn't. I would say that Washington needs to come to Portage to figure out how to work things out. We've learned how to do it very well.
Well, so is that some sort of declaration of future aspects for you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Just the point is that I think that we sit down and talk and communicate often. And I think it's important for a leader of a community to hear all sides and to just listen and then to make the decision that they believe is best for their community. And my staff often tells me I'm wrong, a lot more than they tell me I'm right. And the fact that we get that done prior to coming out and talking to people, I think, is what's helped.
So what happens when you say, this is what I'd really like to do, and one of your staff members, or even a couple of them, say, I don't know, that just does not sound like a good direction to go?
Well, I give them the crazy reasons why I think it's the right thing to do,
Okay.
and then they give me the other side, and they work at giving me the other side. They present facts, they present facts, and they present the things that really are why they don't feel it's right. And then we sit down and we go over them, and 9 times out of 10 we listen. And then every once in a while you'll look at it and you'll go, I still think this is the right decision for us to make.
So was that one of those Freudian slips when you kept saying they prevent
Yeah,
facts?
yeah, that was a Freudian. A good example would be the snowplows to Gary. Staff there had really felt that could be a problem for us. And in that case, we made the call that we're going to do it because it's right. And it ended up being, it was the right decision then, it's the right decision now, but it's a good example of where we sit down and talk about things prior to pulling the plug or moving it.
Was that more, from their point of view, cautionary, or was it more like, don't do that?
Well, you have to remember, we're always trying to keep the council, it's 4 votes,
Right.
and we're trying to keep them in a good position to work with us. And so sometimes when you make a decision that could jeopardize that, you're jeopardizing your community's future decisions. And so you have to balance each of those decisions with the prospects of what do you have on the table, what's coming up next. Are you going to create so much division that you hurt your next big objective?
Did that eventually play out pretty positive for our viewers? That was when, during a really tough winter period, you sent some of your extra equipment over to help
Sure.
Gary clear some of the streets from snow, and you took some flack for that from some people. But in the long run, has that played out to a more positive side, or did the opposition just kind of?
Yeah, it played
back
out
off?
well for everybody. I think it taught us a lot about each other, and we were able to work through it. And I think that what you have to realize as a good leader is that everybody's opinion matters. The same people who elected those council people elected me. And if I respect the people who elected me, I'm going to respect the people who elected them and listen to them. And sometimes they probably don't feel that I listen to them, but I really do. And listening doesn't mean always doing what they want. It means listening and then trying to explain why you didn't do what they wanted and things like that. And I'll tell you that a lion's share, a large majority of the council and a large majority of the residents know that I listen.
So if you could, in a short presentation, say, this is kind of our strategy in Portage, this is kind of what we're trying to do, what is that? I mean, overall.
Sure. I think you'll listen to the mayors all talk about this, and I heard Mayor Milo from LaPorte probably explain it the best. We all work very well together, but we're all in competition with each other. And the competition is to bring the very best families. When a new family moves to town,
Come to our place.
you want them to move to your community because that's how you strengthen your community, is families. And We all realize that. We all recognize that. We need our schools to be A+. We need our roads to be in really good condition, because most people don't know about the crime rates in a community when they move there, or how good the fire department. They do drive on the street and know if they're going to a showing and there's potholes on their street. They look at the parks as they come into the community and they see those. Making sure that, and those are things that we were really forgetting in the region as a whole. And I think the leadership of Mayor Costas in really focusing on that family-oriented lifestyle 12, 13 years ago, and focusing on downtown, and Mayor Stahera, the same, what he's doing, really caught wind. And so all of us are really trying to rebuild and change and promote bringing new, good families to our communities.
So, and I heard you when we recently had our youth leadership on the bus, you were like, now look, after you finish college, give Portage a look. Take a look at moving here
Sure.
and settling down. So you made a good pitch for that. But you just talked about the downtown. You know, everybody else is revitalizing their downtown and really using that as an anchor for their communities. And you look over in Portage and go, whoa, wait a second, you guys don't have a downtown.
Sure.
So that strategy for these other communities is working. So what do you do to kind of deal with that?
Oh, there's two aspects of that. I have to give props to Mayor Olson and Mayor Velasquez, who really did a lot of the hard work of tearing down a lot of the buildings and things like that that were in decay. And that's hard to do. I mean, every decision you make, every building they tore down was, you know, another dollar wasted, and that's what they were accused of. And I don't agree with that at all. They were really looking at today. And now we have the largest commercial, residential, retail development getting ready to break ground in August, $50 million, the Founders Promenade, the largest project ever to take place like that in the region. And so we're able to build our downtown.
And that's where, over near Willow Creek and
Willow Creek and Central.
By
the water tower, by Founders Square Park. What we did there is we had this plan. I dusted it off. It wasn't my idea. It was, once again, finding somebody else's idea and finishing it. It was Mayor Olson had Founders Square Park sitting there, and it had a splash pad on it, and it had a performance venue, and we had already got to see what Valparaiso did and how successful it was there. So we're really mimicking what other people have done. We're not reinventing.
That's really interesting, because Michigan City has a similar story. They're like, they kind of dusted off an old plan and then just really updated it.
Sure.
It's about timing. But in your situation, it's also about $50 million. Where are you coming up with $50 million for this project?
But we're not. That's all private.
Okay.
It's all private money, and that's what's really exciting about it, is that we spent about the city of Portage to put the park in and everything around it and to build the new fire station. We spent about $6 million on things that were needed and necessary, and then the private sector saw those improvements and said, I mean, whoever thought that a $50 million, the largest development in the region, would be taking place in downtown Portage?
How much of that do you kind of have booked already of that project? I mean, how much is, like, we've got people lined up for a third of this?
No, it's one developer.
One developer.
One developer, and they're the people who built the Ameriplex. So very trusted, very Holiday Properties has probably brought more jobs to the region than any company there is in the last 20 years.
That's a good group of people.
Sure. So we're really, I mean, we couldn't have foreseen it any better than what's taking place today. And I don't think that, I'm so happy for the mayors who fought so hard before me to pave the way to the success that we're seeing today. A lot of them were hard workers. I'm kind of viewed as the sales guy, you know, so I get to finish what they started, and I'm really making the best that I can, making them a part of the excitement.
It's all so nice to hear an elected official praising predecessors as opposed to tearing them down and saying that they were idiots.
Sure.
Which we hear way too much of, right?
You aren't kidding.
So, money. Communities are always strapped to find revenue, and our state has made some decisions about that really kind of restricted what you guys can do. But recently, the legislature kind of surprised everybody with a move that might help a little.
They really surprised us. You know, again, mayors before me, and I agree with them, have been asking for hometown matters for years, home rule, allowing us to make decisions based on our communities. Every community is different. Mayor McDermott just got done talking about the wheel tax. Mayor McDermott just got done announcing he's not going to enact it, and then he went through and explained why. And he's very credible in what he's saying. They get $6 million of casino money every year. They just passed an income tax of 1.5%, not Hammond, but the county. So they're receiving a lot more revenues than Portage. We don't have those things, and so the state gave us the ability to do things to help our communities, and roads are just a priority for any community. If your roads aren't right, property values are going down, things are going down. So they gave us the ability to pass the wheel tax if the county decided not to enact it. And quite frankly, Porter County doesn't need a wheel tax. They have a $156 million trust fund that they've set up. So
how does the wheel tax work?
Sure, it's $25 per vehicle per year.
You can charge up to that, or
yes,
you charge
$25 per vehicle per year. And if there is one thing I wish the legislature would do is rename it, like the road improvement tax or something along those lines, because it's just hard. It's not, doing these things are not easy. But the reason we have to pass a wheel tax, there's some good things going on. Fuel efficiency is getting better, which means we're receiving less revenue to fix the roads, but our environment's better, and people are getting more money in their pocket because fuel efficiency is better. And we're paying people more to work on those roads so they can support their families. I'm all for union labor and union wages, and I want to see them get pay increases. But in order for them to get pay increases, we have to collect more so we can continue to pave the roads.
Because is that the biggest complaint in your community about the roads? If you had to pick one complaint that you hear more about, is it?
By far.
Potholes and roads.
10 to 1. 10 to 1. And I'll tell you, we've spent more money in paving in things in the last 3 years than we did in the last 30 years. And it's still the biggest complaint that we receive.
I've heard Michael Griffin say this a million times, so I can't remember what it is, but what's the cost generally for about a mile of road paving?
It's between $200,000 and $250,000. It depends on if the road has curbs. So for us to pave every road in the city every 15 years, it would be $2.5 million a year. And before we enacted the wheel tax, we were receiving $90,000.
How many miles of roads do you have?
154.
Okay, 154 miles of roads. I just think this is important
Sure.
Because this applies to every community.
Right.
It's about $1 million to do 4 miles of road.
Right.
So, and it's really fairly simple math if most people would look at it
Sure.
and say, okay, so who's going to pay for this?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have people go, $25. Seriously, you're going to ask me for $25? Mm-hmm. That's money I could go out to dinner one night. You know how many beers that is
Sure.
to buy?
And what we did before that, though, I don't want to take anybody's money. I'm a very conservative, hardcore Republican in that front. But we made our government as efficient as we could. We stopped picking up grass clippings. We automated trash services. We figured out our health insurance problems. We cut staff. We did everything we could to get our costs under control as a city. And then we decided, when we had the ability to do it from the legislature, we made the right decision.
But it still costs to patch holes and repair
Sure.
roads.
Sure.
And that's bid out. It's not
Right.
whatever the price comes back. And historically, you pretty much know what that's going to be.
Right. And I believe because Portage led, a lot of other communities in the next month are going to be passing it as well. And that's part of leadership. I didn't want to be the one out front, but I figured being the one out front and kind of taking the brunt of all of the discussion would allow the other communities to find out which way they needed to go and things. Somebody had to do it. And we felt we're the labor community. Portage is. We have the highest population of union construction tradesmen than any community in the region. So we felt that we would be the right ones to go out first and fight for it. And we did it, and we did it well. And now the other communities are actually using our ordinance and passing the same thing.
Well, I'm looking at your jacket and pants, and I'm not seeing a lot of flack holes. So how much flack did you really take?
Quite a bit. It's the toughest one to pass. I have a friend in Indianapolis. When the counties were able to enact this, 2/3 of counties throughout the state already have a wheel tax. And so when he told me about meetings he would go to where they were having this, and he warned me it was going to be tough. But it allowed me to warn my council as well. We need to do this on the merits of right and wrong versus what the grief we're going to take. And they stuck, the 4 that helped me get it done stuck to it. And but yeah, it wasn't an easy one to pass.
I don't know if this is a good way to put it, but if people think it's about $6 1/4 a tire, right?
Right.
And you have to pay more than that, I think, to dispose of a tire these days. So
You do.
$5 to $10.
We tried to really not. We tried to have an argument on why we needed to do it, and we, anytime somebody would try to utilize anytime I have to take money out of my residents' pockets, it's tough. It's just tough. And because everybody's struggling, we don't know what household is going through what at what time. And so we tried to really show a lot of empathy and sympathy for that. At the same time, we want values to be going up, property values to be going up. We want good people moving to our communities, and that's our focus.
So you've been in office 5 years. If you look back during that period, is there one thing, and you talked about several things you feel like your community has accomplished in these past years on the shoulders of your predecessors? There's one thing you could point to and say, I'm really proud that we've got this done or this happened. What is that one thing?
We had a real fight on the park bond. It was it's not a lot, it was a $3.5 million park bond that was coming up. And my staff even recommended that we lower it to get it passed. If we go with $1 million, I think we can get it done. And I didn't have anything to do with it. I realized that we were in competition for young families, and we stuck to the 3.5. And I won over one of the fringe council people, and we got it passed. And if you go to Countryside Park and you see it today, I think every resident is thankful because it's changed our park system. Just recently, our Parks Department was rated one of the top 3 banquet centers in the region. And we fought for that. We fought really hard for that.
So your park director, Jenny Orsburn, probably really happy with that.
Jenny's a saint. I really am. I'm grateful to have her. Once again, another staff member who really went through a battle to get all this stuff done, and really had a lot of people going at her, and she stuck with me. We stuck together, and we got the council to approve it.
We're down to just the last couple minutes here, so what's still out there that you got to tackle? What's still facing you right now? The one major hurdle you feel like man, we got to get over this one.
Sure, the lakefront. The concern that I have on the lakefront is the beach is eroding. And it's affecting Ogden Dunes, and it's affecting us.
I was out there one day when they were unloading the sand. Yes,
so
it's very noisy.
Getting sand to the beach. I can't change Mother Nature, but getting that taken care of. That lakefront property is really a focal point of the entire region, and making sure that works properly is really a focus of ours. And the long-term plan is the Army Corps to fix it for good, forever. And so we're working on a short-term solution, a mid-range solution, and a long-term solution all at the same time, and getting all the government entities, NIPSCO, Mittal Steel, the ports, the state of Indiana, the Army Corps of Engineers, Congressman Visklosky is a huge help to us on that. But getting everybody together at one time, at one table to get this done has been a challenge, but I think we're close.
So if you had 15 seconds to just pitch Portage on why somebody should move there, what is that?
The people at Portage are the best, hardest working people I know, and that's what makes me proud to be their mayor, but also makes me work harder every day.
Well, I'm proud to have you as a mayor over there too. I'm not in your community, but people speak very highly of what you're doing, and I commend you on that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here, Keith.
You bet. I was listening to a panel of educational leaders a few days ago, and a question was asked about lack of parental involvement. One panelist responded by saying that our American culture has changed. Years ago, there was a general feeling among parents that they wanted something better for their children. They hoped for a brighter future for not only their kids, but their grandchildren and their friends' children. He continued with, today our culture says, I want it now, and I want to know what's in it for me. If you convert that to parents, it's demand that my kid gets it all and gets it now. Our culture has changed, and it is not a good repositioning. We have become selfish and focused only on today and perhaps tomorrow. Future, that's for the next generation to figure out. Other people's needs, that's for someone else to handle. I don't want to sound pessimistic. I think I am just stating the obvious. Since our show today was about a local community and the challenges that face communities, let's apply these cultural principles to problems in our towns and cities. I want the pothole on my street fixed now, no yesterday, and I really don't care about the ones on the other side of town. Don't spend my tax money on replacing old water lines. Wait till they break and then fix them. Build a new school? Are you kidding? My kids have already graduated, and what was good enough for them is good enough for the rest of them. These views are clear examples of I don't care about anyone else or the future, and your decisions better have a positive outcome for me personally. That's the problem, but how do we change it? What does it take for a culture to shift its attitude? First, it takes time. It did not become this way overnight. It took years and will need the same to reverse. I think those of us who do think about the future impact and are concerned about others must have a louder voice. There is an abundance of messages for the opposite. Speak up, speak out, speak often, and speak with wisdom. Don't let the self-absorbed voices drown the sounds of selflessness. Those of us who want what's best for generations to come and are willing to make the tough decisions which may not be comfortable for us must not remain silent. Ironically, we must do it now and because we know it's right. We hope that our show enlightened and challenged you in some way. If you have thoughts and comments about today's broadcast or any other show you have watched from the website, send them to our email address on the screen. You can also access our past shows from the website. Tell your friends and family that you watch Lakeshore Public Television and it has a positive impact on your life. Be sure and join us again next week for another Lakeshore Focus. Until then, I'm Keith Kirkpatrick saying, make a positive difference in our world today.
Programming is supported by NIPSCO. Today's young minds are constantly reimagining what our world will be like tomorrow. That's why NIPSCO is upgrading its infrastructure now, so we're ready for whatever comes next. More information at nipsco.com/future.